Good morning. Today we are going to make stuffed cabbage with salmon. Fill a large pot with water and boil. With a kitchen tongue, place a red bell pepper on the stove. Put it close to the flame. When the pepper starts to blister, rotate and continue until the entire pepper is charred. Then put the red bell pepper into a Ziploc and seal. Fill up a bowl with cold water and ice. We are going to use that later. Take a Savoy cabbage, cut the cabbage core and slowly start to peel off the leaves. You want to keep them whole without breaking them. You need about 4 leaves per stuffed cabbage. We are making a recipe for 4, so you need about 16 to 20 leaves to be safe. Wash the leaf under cold water. Put the cabbage leaf in the boiling water for 3 minutes. Using a kitchen tongue, take out the leaves, holding them by the hard part, then put them in a strainer. Then soak them in ice water to cool them down and keep a nice bright color. Meanwhile, wash the black trumpets. You may have to wash them 3 or 4 times as they have a lot of dirt and sand. Put them in a strainer, then place them on a kitchen towel. Pat dry and put them aside. Take a sweet shallots, chop them and set aside. With a sharp knife, remove the skin of the flounder. Place the fillet skin side down and cut between the flesh and the skin, holding the tail. If you don't feel comfortable with this, ask your fishmonger to do it for you. Then do the same for the salmon. Remove the fat of the salmon to have a lean fillet. Cut the fillet lengthwise along the center line. Cut the thickest part in 2 squares of 2.5 inches side and keep the leftover to prepare the salmon mousse. Use the salmon as a template to cut 4 squares of flounder. Keep the leftover to make the mousse. You have 2 plates, one for the mousse and one with the squares of fish. Cut the 2 pieces of salmon in the thickness to make 4 squares. Carefully put the cabbage leaf on a paper towel. Then pat dry. With a knife, discard the hard part of the leaves and set them aside. In a skillet over medium heat, melt 2 tablespoons of butter. Add the shallots and cook for 2 minutes. Add the black trumpets and saute for 4 minutes, stirring frequently. If you don't find a black trumpet, you can use a shiitake mushroom instead. Season with salt and pepper. And set aside. In a larger skillet, melt 2 tablespoons of butter over high heat. Add 1 tablespoon of garlic and cook for 1 minute. Stir in the fresh spinach and saute until wilted. Season with salt and pepper. And set aside. Take out the pepper out of the Ziploc and rinse it under cold water. Rub the pepper until all the skin comes off. Open it and take out the seeds and stem. Chop 2 tablespoons of chives and 1 tablespoon of dill. We are going to prepare the mousse. Put the leftover flounder in a food processor, add 1 tablespoon of chive, a quarter of cup of whipped cream, season, puree the fish until smooth, about 30 seconds. Add 1 egg white, and mix for another 15 seconds. And put aside. Cut the leftover salmon into cubes. Place in a food processor. Add 1 tablespoon of dill, a quarter of cup of whipped cream, season with salt and pepper, and puree the salmon until smooth, about 30 seconds. Add an egg white, and mix for another 15 seconds. And set aside. Fill a steam pot with water on high heat. Take a ladle and a small bowl. Take about 2 feet of a plastic food wrap and lay over the ladle. Take another 2 feet and lay across the first one. Push the plastic inside the ladle and spray with oil. Place 2 or 3 cabbage leaves inside the ladle, overlapping the edges. Take half of the red bell pepper and cut in 2. And place over the cabbage. Put about 3 tablespoons of flounder mousse and spread over the bell pepper. Season the squares of fish. Place 1 piece of flounder over the mousse. 3 tablespoons of spinach. 3 tablespoons of black trumpets. 1 square of salmon. Spread 3 tablespoons of salmon mousse. Close with a small cabbage leaf. Fold a plastic wrap, bringing the leaves inside. Tied up like a purse. Cut another 2 feet of plastic. And tightly secure the purse. Repeat the process for the 3 others. The recipe is for 4 servings, but I am going to cook 2. Put the stuffed cabbage into the steamer basket. I like to use the bamboo one that you can buy in a Chinese shop. Cover and steam for 30 minutes. Over on medium heat, melt 2 tablespoons of butter. Add 3 tablespoons of shallots. 1 cup of white wine. 1 tablespoon of fish base. Stir a little. Add 1 tablespoon of chives. Mix 1 tablespoon of cornstarch in a cup of cold water. Add to the sauce, stirring until thickened. After 30 minutes, take out the stuffed cabbage. Use a spatula as it is very hot. Place on a cutting board. With a knife, cut and discard the plastic wrap. With the spatula, move it on a paper towel to absorb the excess of the juice. Then cut the cabbage in half. Plate and drizzle with the sauce. Bon appétit!